Yes, through my sincere apologies. Nature had called. Can I quickly introduce myself? My name is Steve Msmatwani from Water and Sanitation Group Head. I declare that I don't have any interest on all the items under consideration at this meeting. Chair, through you, Chair, can I ask that Refilwe take us through the first report? Thanks for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. The report that is serving the tender reference is HHS 01-2018-19. In the description, it is for the appointment of environmental consulting engineering firm to render services of a wetland specialist in ensuring compliance with Section 18, subsection 4 of the National Environmental Management Act and the related services to the compliance of Section 21 CNI of the National Water Act for a period of 15 months. The quotations were requested on the 9th of May. The closing date was the 17th of May 2022. The evaluation date was the 18th of May 2022. The departmental official who was doing the evaluation is Philip Botha, and under supply chain, it is Sibusiso Ntlangisa. The specification for the project is attached as Annexure C. The specification is basically addressing the directives which were issued by Department of Rural Development and Agriculture and the National Department of Water and Sanitation. That is following the work that was done under emergency basis at Linwood Bridge in terms of securing the pipe that was exposed due to soil erosion. So the bidders invited were 10, and upon a closing date, only one submission was received. Then administrative compliance was done for the one bid received. The MPD forms were found to be compliant for the bidder, that is for stage 2. And in terms of price, the bidder priced 2,691,800 excluding VAT. The scoring was done and the ranking, and the amount inclusive of VAT is 3,364,750. It is therefore recommended that bidder number 1 be appointed as a service provider for environmental consulting firm, which will render services of wetland specialists in ensuring compliance with Section 28, subsection 4 of the National Environmental Management Act and the services related to Section 21 CNI of the National Water Act at a tender amount of 2,691,800 exclusive of VAT, amount inclusive of VAT and contingencies being 3,364,750. The group head, Water and Sanitation, will ensure that the project is managed within the approved budget. The compliance was done on National Treasury database, and the bidder was found to be compliant, and all annexures of the report are attached on this report. The report is tabled, Chairperson.
Thanks, Refilwe. Members, the report is tabled. Comments, Verusha?
Chair, I don't have any comments, thanks.
Thank you, Mingi.
No comments from my side, Chair, thank you.
Thanks, Thandi.
I'm covered, Chair.
Thank you. No comments from my side. As recommended, members.
As
As
recommended.
recommended, Chair.
Thank you. Portia, Mapola, Gaston, the CST reports were sent through to you guys. Gaston, can you confirm the status of tax compliance?
Chairperson, I was having a problem with my Q drive.
but I'll check.
Thanks. Next item, Mapula.
The next item is 1.2 HH01/2018-19, appointment of a professional service for professional civil engineering for the compilation of a business case submission for the project appraisal process as required by Infrastructure South Africa for the Sunderland Regis wastewater treatment works, Revolve, Spore, and the Richmond water treatment plant.
Thanks. Department, please take us through.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, this is a quotation process for the appointment as introduced by a member of the committee or secretariat. So the delivery period is for a period of 9 months. Chair, this is linked to alternative funding solutions for expansions of bulk infrastructure. As indicated, Revolve, Paviansport, Redflay, Rand, and Sunderland. So the intention is to appoint consulting engineers to assist the city to put together business cases that will be used to obtain funding. So 10 service providers, I'm on item 4, 10 service providers were invited to provide quotations. There was a briefing session and only 5 service providers attended the briefing session, and at closure of the bid, there were only 3 submissions from Batatisi Consult Engineers, Tazu Projects and Consult Engineers, and Durabi Consulting. So those are bidders 1, 2, 3, respectively. And the next item 7 just indicates the administrative compliance. So they all complied. And then one of the service providers was disqualified, Chair. There was a part where they needed to C3.5, where they needed to indicate the methodology at which they would approach the solution. And from what was submitted, it was seen that the service provider misinterpreted the project brief, and what they submitted is not in line with what is required, completely off. So they were disqualified, and there were only 2 service providers left, Durabi and Batatisi. So, Chair, there will be business case done per infrastructure side. So you will have one start with Paviansport, and we see that Batatisi came with the lowest quote for Paviansport. Revolve is Durabi that came low at 1.9. Then Sunderland for the business case, Batatisi, and Batatisi also came low at Redflay wastewater treatment plant. And item 11 just indicates a breakdown of BE and so forth. And it is just as I had explained, Chair. So under recommendations for item 1, Paviansport, it is recommended that Batatisi Consult Engineers be appointed to prepare a business case. Chair, what I'm just going to ask is that we just asked right at the end of the paragraph, we just add for a period of 9 months. I see that the appointment duration has been omitted erroneously. So that will be for a period of 9 months at a total amount of 161,582.42 exclusive of VAT. And for item number 2, Revolve, it is recommended that Durabi Consulting gets appointed, and also if we can just add for a period of 9 months at the total amount of 1,972,300 exclusive of VAT. 3, Batatisi for Sunderland Ridge, similarly for a period of 9 months at 1,671,974.74 exclusive of VAT. And lastly, item 4 for Revolve at the period of 703, it's also Batatisi consulting engineer for a period of 9 months. Chair, they were checked for tax compliant and found to be compliant. The report is tabled. Thank you.
Thank you, Stevens. Members, the report is tabled. Comments, Osminki?
Chair, no comments from my side. Thank you.
Thanks, Tandy.
Chair, the addition, can it be specific to say for a period of 9 months from the date of appointment, please, Chair?
Yes, thank you.
Kirsten, please take note, Mapula and Portia. Verusha, comments?
Thanks, Chair, I'm covered.
Thanks, members. I see a service provider has been disqualified because they've missed or they did not understand the project or whatever. Can we then request as an additional item of supporting documentation a criteria that was used to evaluate the methodology? If there is such a refill.
Chair, I don't think it was a refill in this case. Not sure who was in the evaluation. Franz, are you able to assist? Chair,
Let me just quickly check for you. It was Victor and Franz, yes, or Franz.
Okay.
Yes, Madam Chair. While I'm going to speak, I will just declare that my name is Frans Beton. I'm the Director for Water and Sanitation Planning. I declare that I have no interest in the state tender. Yes, the purpose of the submission that had to be made was specifically to ensure that the tenderer understands what is required, because this is an innovative type of work that must be done. The tenderer referred to the project as if it is a physical project. He referred to payments, how the tender, how BE tenders and EPW will be accommodated in the works and so on, which will not be the case in this contract. It was therefore totally clear that he doesn't understand what is required. There was not a specific document that specify how it should be interpreted, but just from an engineering point of view, it was clear that he was thinking of this as a physical installation of upgrading of the plant, while we are only looking at the business case. In other words, the financial feasibilities. I hope that that clear a matter. Thank you.
It does, but in future, please let's make sure department, when you submit the specification, it has that requirement of the evaluation of the methodology. I understand that we ask them to submit, but they must understand that it will be looked at thoroughly so that we get an understanding whether their methodology is acceptable or the bidder understands what is required of them. Members, thanks, Franz. Members, as recommended?
As recommended, Chair.
With the specific inclusion
Yes.
amendments from Tandy in terms of from the date the appointment letter is issued. Thank you, members. Next item, please.
The next item is item 2 from Energy and Electricity 2.1 USD 06 2021-22. Weather report, tender for the supply, delivery and offloading of 6 different options of standby food parcels to various stores as and when required.
Thanks, Mapula. Can the department or the BEC chair introduce themselves, declare and take us through the item?
Thank you, Chairperson. The responsible chairperson for this bid. My name is Inos Ramonwana, chairperson of the BEC. I would like to declare to the committee that I do not have any personal interests in any of the matter that will be presented by me to the committee. Chairperson, the tender that I'm presenting here is a further report for the utility service, energy and electricity, USD 06 2021-2022. Is further report for the tender for the supply, delivery and offloading of 6 different options of standby food parcel to various stores as and when required. I can confirm, Chairperson, that the tender is still valid. It's been extended until the 1st of September, and that the tender was presented to the committee before, and then it was referred back. I just want the committee to, I will go to the further report, directly to further report, and indicate the requirements by the BAC that they said must go back to be attended to. If you can go to page 208, the members to go to page 208 of the report. I'm just quickly going there also. Is the committee there? Can I continue?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, on page 208, you will see our further report for that was referred on the 7th of February 2022. The bid adjudication committee at its meeting held on December the 9th, 2021, resolved that USD 06 2021 tender for the supply, delivery and offloading of 6 different options for standby food parcel to various stores as and when required be referred back to the bid evaluation committee and the department for them to do the following. 1, to correct the pricing for all the items. And then item number 2 was to confirm and seek advice from legal and secretarial services and supply chain management on the issue of the objective criteria, which read that the tender will not necessarily be awarded to the service provider who scored the highest point, but priority will be given to the company that is owned by at least 51% with disability. Only in the instance where a company that is owned by at least 51% disability cannot be identified, then the tender will be awarded to the service provider score the highest. That was the point number 2. Point number 3, to confirm whether the local content stage of the evaluation case was not required for the tender. Point number 4, for the department to submit a formal response on the issue of continuing with the tender by ensuring that there is an allowance afforded to those who are required to work the shift as and when required. Those were the items. If you go to page 209, you will see on item number 19, the response to correct the pricing for all the items. The tables below, you can see on the far right, we indicated recalculated prices that we corrected because it was issues of VAT where the VAT was automatically calculated. So we corrected those items. And then we, for all the items, of which are the 6 items. So if you go to page number 212, you will see at the item number 2 of 19. Where is item 19.2 is to where we need to confirm and seek advice to the legal and secretariat and supply chain. We got the comments. Below is the response from the director's demand section, who is the chairperson of the bid specification committee. Hence, he's the one that gave comment, and then he indicated as below, currently refer to regulation 11 of 2 of PFMA, that state that if an organ of the state intends to apply objective criteria in terms of the section 2(1)(f) of the Act, the organ of the state must stipulate the objective criteria in the tender document. So this objective criteria was included as part of the tender document to advance specific designated group being at least 51% disability owned by the companies. It further goes that section 2 of the Act, the contract must be awarded to the tender who scored the highest point unless objective criteria in addition to those contemplated in the paragraph D and E justify the award to another tender. Objective criteria was part of the bid document to give preference to disability-owned companies, not necessarily the highest point scorer. And then point number 3 there, I said as to Roman figure 1D and Roman figure 1 of the Act said that specific goals may include contracting with person or categories of person historically disadvantaged by unfair discrimination on the basis of race, gender, or disability. So disability was considered for this tender. So the application of this objective means that the requirement of the triple PFA must still be fulfilled. Once done, identification of the companies that are owned by disability should be identified and awarded. Only in the case where companies that are owned by disabilities did not show interest in the bid, then the award should be made to the highest point scorer. This requirement was opened up to guard against non-responsive bid should disability-owned companies not responded to the bid. And then there is an annexure H that was is attached. And then item number 3 from the BAC to confirm whether the local content stage of the evaluation was not required for this tender. Please refer to the attached DTI policy on the local content food parcel not designated, of which is annexure L. The last one, for the department to submit a formal response on the issue of continuing with the tender by ensuring that the tender is an allowance afforded to those who are required to work shift as and when required. If you go to check, the other one is annexure I. If you go to check annexure L on the things that are attached there, you will see that from BEC point of view, we communicated obviously with the department, but the department, they attached the initial letter that they submitted with the specification when the tender was going to be advertised. If you can check, go to that annexure, you will see the letter was written to the acting city manager by Energy Electricity, and then also approved by the former group 8. I don't know whether I'm putting it correctly. Oh, group, let me just approved by group 8. where the letter, maybe I need to read it quickly so that people, the committee take consent. Request for the approval to advance tender for the Utility Services Department, USD 06-2021, tender for the supply, delivery, and offloading of 6 different options of standby food parcel to various stores throughout the city of Sunderland and one required. The purpose of this memo is to request approval to advertise the above mentioned tender for the utility service, which has been recommended for advertising by the bid specification committee. Energy and electricity employ work night shift and are also on standby on a monthly basis. The tender is required to assist the workers by creating convenience and safety, and the workers do not have to look for food while working night shifts. The tender makes provision to enable the city to procure 6 different options of food parcel, which are critical for the efficiency of jobs that are carried out during the night and isolated places. This is the letter that is attached from the department. Thank you, Chairperson. I hope this covers all the concern that was raised by the committee.
Thank you, Enos. Members, the report is tabled. Any comments, Verusha?
No comments, Chair.
Thanks, Minky.
No comment, Chair. As long as all the requested further information from the previous meeting has been captured, I'm fine.
Thank you, Tandy.
Chair, I was concerned about the fair discrimination, whether it was included as a part of the conditions to the tender, but having read through it, it looks like it was. I'm therefore assuming that this tender is as and when required. If you can confirm.
Yes, it is as and when required.
Okay. I didn't pick that up on the recommendation, Chair. So if that can be included, I'll be covered. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, members. As amended, tender as and when required, as amended, members.
Okay.
As amended, Chair.
Thank you. Next item, Portia or Mapula.
The next item is item 3 from Group Property 3.1 GPM 07-2021-22 Property Asset Management and Advisory Services Cancellation Tender Invitation for the Long-Term Lease and Development of Municipal Property ERF 5919 Kudube Unit 7 ERF 6513 Kudube Unit 7 for a period of 30 years.
Thanks, Mapula. BEC Chair, please introduce yourself, declare and take us through the item. Mapula, am I audible?
Yes, Chair.
The BEC Chair of the GPM tenders, please introduce yourself, declare and take us through the item.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Kaini Mpofu, Chair for GPM tenders. I want to declare that I don't have interest in the item that are going to serve before us, Chair. Thank you. Let's see. Sorry, Chair. Open item, the report for GPM 7, Chair. We'll start with the GPM 7 report. Chair, this the item GPM 7. This is the property assets management and advisor services. GPM 7 is cancellation for tender invitation for long-term lease and development of municipal property, ERF 19 Kudube Unit 7, ERF 6513, Kudube Unit 7 for a period of 30 years. Chair, the specification was approved on the 11th of October. Bid advertising date, it was the 3rd of December 2021. The closing date was 7 February 2022. The officials, Chair, from supply chain is Dimakatso with Kumo, and then the official from the department is Tembagas. The expiry date, I know they're supposed to, I'm supposed to have extended it. I'm supposed to they give me the date, the report. That means I send the report that have not actually extended, but the tender was extended. Chair, I remember when we were in a meeting, they were actually going to extend this tender. As I said, the reason, Chair, for us to request for cancellation this tender is there was the schedule of administrative. If we go to page, to me it says page 16. On the administrative, bidder, Tiro and building contractor, they did not declare on all applicant taxes MBD 5. They did not declare. Hence, the bidder did not actually the bidder did not manage to go through. Therefore, it was only one bid that was received. Therefore, as a result, Chair, the tender is a non-responsive, and we request that this tender be cancelled, Chair, and the department should have a comparison briefing for these tenders, because we have realized that these tenders, most of them, the suppliers need to be briefed about the MBD forms. It's either they declare and they do not disclose. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you, Ndadimbo. Members, the report is tabled. Comments, Tandi?
No comments, Chair.
Thank you, Verusha.
No comments, Chair.
Thank you, Osminki.
I'm okay with the report, Chair. No comments from my side.
Thank you. A report is recommended for cancellation, and there's a specific inclusion of the briefing session to be compulsory for the GPM tenders. Thank you, members. Next item, Mabola.
The next item is item 3.2, GPM 06-2021-22, public tender invitation for the development and long-term lease of portion 103 of the farm Princehof 349 JR, also known as Melchizedek Mahalal Flats Building.
Thank you, Mapola. Public tender invitation for the development and long-term lease of portion 103 of the firm Princehof 349 JR, also known as Melchizedek Mahala Flats Building. Can Ndadimbo take us through?
Thank you very much, Chair. Sorry, I was trying to unmute. Thank you very much, Chair. Yes, our next item is, as we said, is GPM 06. This is the public tender invitation for the development of long-term lease for portion 103 of the farm Princehof 349 JR. It's also a 30-year lease, Chair. The specification was approved on the 7th of June 2021. the bid advert was on the 3rd of December 2021. The closing date was the 4th of February 2021. The official from supply chain is Johanna and Dimakazo, and then the official from the department is Tembagazi. Chair, the tender here. Let me take it straight to the recommendation.
Sorry, Chairperson of the BC, can you confirm that the tender was extended?
Yes, it was extended.
Can you just tell us to which date?
I need just to confirm with the official, because on BAC chair, I really emphasize to them that these tenders must be extended 10 days before expiry. And then the official really said they were going to follow that. I'll need to find out when did they actually extend it. But when we were at the BEC, we emphasized that this tender must be extended, and then we promised that they were going to be extended, Chair.
Can I then advise you, Dr. Mpofu, to move on to the next item? Ask your team to confirm GPM 06, whether it has been extended or not, and you take us through GPM 14. Thanks.
Okay. Yes, I'll do that, Chair.
Thanks. Mapule, please introduce GPM 14 2021/2022.
Okay, the next item 3.3, GPM 14 2021/22, cancellation, tender invitation for the long-term lease and development of municipal property, portion of ERF 762 Gezina.
Thank you, Mapula. BC Chair, please take us through.
Chair, thank you very much, Chair. Chair, can I also request just for the team to give me the exact date when they've actually extended that proof, so that I see that on GPM 14 also is the same issue, Chair.
Can you table GPM 14 and Dr. Mpofu because it's a cancellation? Thanks.
Oh, okay. Yes. GPM 14, the specification, Chair, was approved on the 29th of November 2021. The bid advertising date was the 18th of January 2021. The closing date was the 1st of March 2021. The official from supply chain, it was Johanna and Abel Baloyi, and the official from the department, I can't see there. Okay, so the members, Chair is...
Let me help you, Dr. Mpofu. The official from the department is Johanna. The official from SCM is Abel. Thank you.
Oh.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. The date for the on the 18, the closing date was the 18th, Chair, and then tender validity was 90 days, Chair. Bid expiry was the 30th of May, Chair. The first extension, I see the document is not yet updated as per our instruction as the BEC, Chair. I want to apologize for that. That is not yet done. If I may just proceed to the bidders that on the response, Chair. It's on schedule.
Yes, we can see that we've received one bid, and the bid did not meet the requirements.
Yes, Chair. They did not meet they did not meet the requirements. Hence, we are actually requesting for a cancellation, Chair. The recommendation is the council asking for cancellation, and we are also with asking the department actually to have a comparison briefing, and that should include supply chain, so that at least because of the issue of that bidders not properly declaring, that is the problem that we have experienced, Chair. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks, Datebufu. So this bid, the bidder was disqualified at administrative compliance.
Yes, Chair. They did not, because of the certificate of independent. It was an administrative compliance. It was a completed.
Because your report, Jay, it's not a proper report. Because you can see the administrative compliance being documented somewhere there, where we are saying the declaration of interest form for MBD4 was not completed.
Yes.
And you only had one bid. So
yes,
that's where you stopped evaluation.
Yes, we stopped the evaluation when we realized that the bidder did not declare involvement of other companies as per the requirement of MPD4.
Okay, can we then get a confirmation from the CSD report that says this company has other entities in Datembof? Can we have it attached as part of the submission?
Okay, Chair. Okay, Chair.
Please.
Yes.
Members, the report is tabled, recommended for cancellation because the MBD4 was not completed in full. It's difficult then for us also to say the spec was in order because it never reached a stage of functionality. The report is tabled. Minky, any comments?
Nothing, Chair, from my side.
Thank you. Thandi?
As recommended, Chair.
Thank you. Verusha?
Chair, as recommended.
Thank you. As recommended. Datembofu. Next item, Mapula.
Next item is item 3.4, GPM 01-2021-22 cancellation. Tender invitation for the long-term lease and development of municipal property, ERF 1240 Garankuwa Unit 20.
Thank you, Mapula. Datembofu, take us through.
Just 1 minute, Chair. I'm just trying to locate my report here, where I saved the massive. GPM 16.
You want us to go back to GPM 16 and Datembofu?
Yes, I'm at GPM 16, Chair. I'm just trying to locate my report where I saved. I seem not to see it where my other reports. It's not with where other reports.
But we are on GPM 1 now. We don't want to do GPM 1.
Oh, I thought that. Oh, sorry, Chair. I was. Yes.
We are on item 3.4, GPM 1.
Okay, thanks, Chair. GPM 1, Chair, is cancellation. We are requesting for cancellation tender invitation for the long-term lease and development of municipal property, ERF 1240, Garankuwa Unit 14. It says remainder of ER 12,000 Pretoria. It is a 30-year lease, Chair. The specification was approved on the 26th of July 2021. The bid advert advertising date was the 6th of September 2021. The closing date was the 8th of February 2021. The official responsible from the department is Johanna, and the official from supply chain is Kifilwe. The tender validity, Chair, is 90 days. It first expired on the 8th of May, and it has been extended until the 8th of February. Then I will try and take the committee to page on page 9. The bid that were received, it was bidder number 1, bidder number 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 7, and it's if we look at pre-compliance, Chair, they were all tax compliance, and then if we move on to disqualification, Chair, on the declaration of interest, tender MBD4, bidder number 1 did not declare, bidder number 2 completed and declared, bidder number 3 completed and declared, bidder number 4 completed and declared, bidder number 5 did not declare, bidder number 6 completed and declared, bidder number 7 did not declare. And then if we move on to, that means on administrative disqualification, Chair, 3 bidders, bidder number 1, 5, and 7 were disqualified on administrative, Chair. And then we move on to mandatory compliance, Chair. If we look into mandatory, bidder number 2, they did not actually disclose the professional registration there was a professional registration and proof of funding, and then that means it's not going through. Bidder number 3 as well, all the bidder did not disclose, they did not include all the professional qualifications required and proof of funding. Bidder number 4, they only put a proof of the architect and a town planner. The rest of the professional, your engineer, your quantity survey, and the proof of funding, they did not attach. Bidder number 6 did not attach anything. So that leaves us to say the following 4 bidders, they did not qualify from the mandatory and therefore will not be considered for further evaluation. That is bidder number 2, bidder number 3, bidder number 4, and bidder number 6. Therefore, the tender, Chair, is a non-responsive tender. Therefore, we are requesting for this tender to be cancelled. Together with the emphasis to say if the tender must be cancelled and the department to have compulsory briefing, because these tenders are sort of income generating tenders for the city. So the more when we are cancelling them, we are actually, it's bad because these are supposed to give the city income. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks, and the tempo for members. The report is tabled for cancellation. Osmingi, comments?
Cover, Chair.
Thanks, outstanding.
As recommended, Chair.
Thanks, Osferusha.
As recommended, Chair.
Thanks, members. Recommended for cancellation. Thank you. The next item, Mapula.
The next item is item 3.5, GPM 16/2021-22, cancellation. Cancellation report, tender for the invitation for the long-term lease and development of the following council property. Portion of the remainder of the farm, red card 611 Jaya.
Thanks, Mapula. Datempofu, take us through.
Chair, Can I request that, Chair, you move on to the next item? I'm trying to locate my report. I don't know where I saved the report now. I seem to be missing that report for GM16, Chair.
No problem, Datempo, for GPM 16 and GPM 6.
6, yes.
Once we're done with economic development.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Mapula, can you please scroll up so that the members can see the next items? Go up again. Thank you. Please introduce this one.
The next item is from Economic Development, item 4.1, ED 13, 2021-22, cancellation, tender appointment of a service provider for rendering of preventative maintenance and emergency services repairs for the threatening center at Tshwane Market.
Thank you. BEC Chair, please introduce yourself, declare, take us through the item, and can you just focus on whether the tender is valid?
Okay, all right.
What is the reason for the disqualification of bidders that also led to the cancellation? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. And my name is Rahaba Ramakhupa, and I declare that I don't have any personal interest in the tenders that I'll be presenting this morning. The tenders that I'm presenting now is ED 13 of 2021-2022. I'm presenting it as a cancellation, and I won't mention the description again. And the tender is still valid until the 27th of July 2022, and we receive 4 responses from the public. The reason why we are cancelling this tender is that out of those 4 responses that we received from the public is that the one tenderer was not registered on the CSD. Then as a result, failure for a service provider not to register on the CSD, it must result into disqualification. Then that bidder was disqualified based on that. Then we are left only with 3 bidders, and those 3 bidders, they didn't declare on MBD 4 3.14 saying that they're having interest in other companies, and as a result, all of them they were disqualified, and therefore that's the reason that we're recommending cancellation. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. Members, the report is tabled. Comments, Minky?
I'm covered, Chair.
Thanks, Ferusha.
Chair, no comments specifically on this report, but it's quite a concern. We've just seen several reports being cancelled for administrative non-compliance, and even with the bid committee briefing session being held, you're still having non-compliance of administrative forms. So it is quite a concern, and I'm not sure how we can find a way to actually resolve it. But the report, Chair, is in order. Thanks.
Thanks, Ferusha. I think there's a report on, I think MBD4 that maybe supply chain is bringing forward on how can they help on this matter. We do note with concern that the tenders are being cancelled at administrative compliance, and we are not happy or comfortable with those type of disqualifications, BEC chairs, because it clearly states that we are not doing what was requested by the BAC to make sure that we hold information sessions to fully equip the bidders in terms of completing the bid documents. Thandi, your comments?
Covered, Chair, as recommended.
Members, the report is recommended for cancellation. Next item, Mapula.
The next item is 4.2, ED 02-2021-22, cancellation report, tender to appoint a service provider to supply, install, commissioning, and maintaining lights in the market trading halls of Tshwane Fresh Produce Market.
Thank you, Mapula. Rahaba, take us through.
Thanks once again, Chairperson. And as Secretariat indicated, is that the item that I'm presenting now is ED02 of 2021-2022. I'm also presenting it as a cancellation, and I won't mention the description. And I'm presenting it for the first time before this committee. Members, the tender is still valid until the 26th of July 2022, and we received a 10 response from the public. And there was a compulsory briefing session that was held on the 10th of December 2021. Out of those 10 that responded to the public, we found that 6 of them, they didn't attend the briefing session. Then as a result, those 6 companies, they were disqualified for non-attendance of the briefing session. And therefore, we're left only with the 4 companies. And with the 4 companies, we did the stage 1, which is the pre-qualification, because we're looking for the EME or the QSE, all of them, they did qualify. But on the second stage, which is the administrative compliance, 3 of them out of the 4, they didn't declare on MBD4 saying that they are having interest in other companies. Then as a result, those 3 companies, they were disqualified. And we are left only with 1 bidder. And that bidder, then we continue to the 3rd stage, which is the mandatory requirement. And upon us doing the mandatory requirement, we found that the bidder didn't meet all the mandatory requirement. Then as a result, the tender is non-responsive. That's the reason that we are recommending a cancellation. Thank you.
Thank you. Rahaba, can we get the copy of the briefing session?
Yes, I'll just ask the official so that he can give me the copy of the briefing session. I'll do that.
Thank you. Because
Okay.
I didn't see it as part of the pack, unless I
okay.
didn't go through
Oh, okay.
the submission correctly. Members, the report is tabled for cancellation. Comments, Verusha?
Thanks, Chair. No additional comments.
Thank you. Minky? House Minky?
As recommended, Chair, nothing from my side.
Thanks, Standi.
Thanks, Chair, as recommended.
Thank you. Report recommended for cancellation. Next item, Mapula.
The next item is item 4.3, extension of current contract in terms of Circular 62, request for extension of the contract period and contract value.
Thanks, Mapula. Can the department introduce themselves, take us through the item, and also declare? Thank you. Mapula, who is here from the department? Verusha?
Yes, Chair.
Okay, I was just checking whether I'm still audible. Mapula, can you hear me?
Chair, I can hear you. It doesn't look like they're here.
Can we move on to the next item? This item is deferred to the next meeting. Thank you. Next item, Mapula.
Okay, Chair, the next item is item 5 from Community and Social Development Services, 5.1, HHS 01 2018-19.
Sorry, Mapula, aren't we going back to group property?
Okay, Chair.
GPM 6 and GPM 16. Item 3.2 and item 3.5. I'm not sure whether Datempofu was supposed to come back and table those items. Or he's still not ready.
Chair, thanks, Chair. I've just emailed through the proof of the extension for GPM 6, Chair.
Thanks, and Datempofu, you may take us through GPM 6. It's a public tender for the invitation for the development of long-term lease of portion 103 of the farm, Prince of 349 JR. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Chair. Yes. Let me go back there. Yes. Sorry, Chair. Sometimes this document, you open this document, you forgot to close it. When you want to open the document, the document that you don't want is the one that is opened. My apologies for that. Right. GPM 6. As I said, Chair, I'm trying to close my document. I'm opening the document, the old document that GPM 6, Chair. This is the public tender invitation for the development of the long-term lease of portion of 103 of the farm Prince of 349, Chair. It is a 30-year lease, Chair. The tender, Chair, was specification was approved on the 7th of June 2021. The bid advertising date, Chair, was the 3rd of December 2021. It closed on the 4th of February 2022. The official from the department was Johanna, and the official from supply chain is Dimakato. Chair, the tender was valid for 90 days, and Chair, is as I said, I've sent through the proof that Dimakato did actually extended the tender. There are some attachments that shows that she sent the tender was extended on the 29th of April 2022. Chair. We can move on to Chair for the on the administrative, Chair. I'm going down there. There was the bidders that were received, Chair. There were 4 bidders that actually tendered, Chair, for this item. That was bidder number 1, bidder number 2, bidder number 3, bidder number 4. I'm not calling bidders' names, Chair, as this is a public platform. On non-disclosure, Chair, the bidder number 1, CSD, is not yet approved, and they do not have an number. That's why the bidder was fall off from that rank. Then we were left with bidder number 2, 3, and 4. Bidder number 3, Chair, the MPT 1 incomplete, MPT 2 incomplete, the MPT 5 incomplete, MPT 8 incomplete, and MPT 9 incomplete. Therefore, it means that only bidder number 2 and bidder number 4 could actually move on to the next level. Bidder number 3, bidder number 2 and bidder number 4. Bidder number 4, what is it? Well, the financials were not attached as per the requirement. There was no financials that were attached for bidder number 3 and bidder number 4. Therefore, the 3 bidders fall on, and we are only left with bidder number 2. Bidder number 2, Chair, they did actually, they were sort of meeting the requirements. However, bidder number 2, Chair, there is and what you call this thing, a form that I emailed this morning. They actually they stated they were saying they did not agree with the city's terms of reference. So they sent through their own terms of reference, Chair, which I sent through this morning to Portia, and I'm not sure whether Portia shared with the the BAC members. The supplier was sort of disregarding. He said he did not agree with all to say if he is awarded. There was quite a number of things that he was actually saying that even if he's awarded, he's not going to pay rental until after 2 years. He sort of totally disregarded the council approved terms of reference. Therefore, the committee felt this bidder should be disqualified because if he disregard the terms of reference of the city, so there's no he's not agreeing. But I had sent through to Portia in the morning, Chair. I'm not sure whether Portia did they share with the committee that terms of reference, because one of the members highlighted to me that they have not shared. So I went straight to the file and I retrieved it and then I sent it to Portia. I said he must share with the BAC members. Thank you, Chair.
Tadepov, are you done with your presentation?
Yes, I'm done, Chair.
Have we recommended?
No, not yet. I was just explaining why this on GPM 6 the bidder is recommended for cancellation. The reason why it is recommended for cancellation because he has made a counter offer.
I'm confused, members. Which bid are we doing, Tadepov?
GPM6 Chair, those are the reason that we are actually recommending the bidder for cancellation, that the bidder made a counter offer. He said on the counter offer, the counter offer that annexer that I've sent through, I sent through in the morning to Portia. He was saying he does not agree with the council's terms of reference. So he put their own terms of reference.
Okay, so we are saying the bid is not responsive.
It's not responsive, yes, Chair.
Thank you, Tadepov. The report did not come to us as a cancellation. Now, let me just go up. Members, the report is tabled as a cancellation.
Chair, can you verify if I'm looking at the correct report? Is it GPM 06 2021?
Yes, member. That is why I was also confused.
Is it the one that is proposing Ares Property Group, PTY Ltd?
Yes, but they're saying they're proposing cancellation again because the bidder did not accept the terms and conditions of our bidding document or process. In their recommendation on the last page, they are saying Ares PT Property Group, the bidder did not accept all the terms and conditions of the request for proposal and specification as approved by the BAC, but instead provided a counter offer appended and referred to as Annexure 6. So, Tadepov, we were saying the counter offer was to the disadvantage of the city. Yes. Seeing that this is the only bidder that is left. Okay, it was to our disadvantage.
It was to our disadvantage because he was actually refusing to say, because these bidders, Chair, they are supposed to, when they accept the sublet appointment, start paying that council approved rental. So the bidder did not, by not agreeing, he was proposing that he can only pay after 2 years on that Annexure 6, and he's saying also he does not the rental that the council was wanting. He was proposing to say I might give 5%, 9% escalation. He totally disregarded what the terms of reference that was approved by council.
Okay, thank you, Tadepov. Verusha, comments?
Chair, from my side, this is quite a substantial bid offer that the proposed service provider has made, which is 298 million. It's unfortunate that they don't meet the requirements in terms of the submission. I'm wondering if, as a way forward, that we can possibly recommend the department either to do a two-stage bidding process where they allow for proposals. That way, if there are other contentions in the market, that could be addressed. I know from an operational point of view, the issue of occupation, because there were illegal occupants, wouldn't even be an issue at this point because there was a fire on the premises. So I'm wondering, in light of the recent developments, if that would be a better way to actually approach this cancellation, or alternatively, if the department can entertain, if at all, an unsolicited bid based on the submission that is received. But obviously, that's subject to SCM processes. But other than that, Chairperson, the report itself, I support the recommendation. Thanks.
Thanks, Felicia. Tandy?
Chair, I'm just confused in terms of this bid. This bidder, if he made a counter proposal to the city, doesn't that then warrant that the bidder didn't meet the technical requirements and therefore should have been disqualified much earlier than what the report is anticipating? And also maybe if the team can look at 7.2, 7.2, you've written 3 bidders don't qualify and yet you only listed 2. So that will be my comment, Chair, in terms of this report.
Thanks, Tandy. Minky? Ask Minky?
Chair, I'm covered by Verusha and Sis Tandy on what they have alluded to.
Thanks. Dadembov, can you assist with the question on 7.3?
Thank you very much, Chair. Let me assist with the question there.
So, Dadembov, we've received 5 bids, isn't it? Was it 4 or 5? 4.
4, Chair.
4 bids, and 1 was disqualified because they are not CSD registered.
Yes.
So we were left with 3, which is bidder number 2, 3, and 4.
Yes, Chair.
And bidder number 2, 3, and 4, administratively, 1 was disqualified, which is bidder number 3.
Yes.
In 7.1 outstanding. Meaning you should be left with bidder number 2 and bidder
number 4. My issue is at 7.2, Chair.
Yes, I'm getting there.
Okay.
Meaning that for 7.2, you should have, or before 7.2, because you've already disqualified bidder number 3 for administrative compliance. They are incomplete.
Yes.
But you are saying in 7.2, note that the 3 bidders did not submit financial statements. So we're talking about 3 instead of 2.
2, yes, yeah.
Yes.
I see, yeah, that's a mistake. Check.
Meaning in your MBD 5 declaration, bidder number 4 should have been written as incomplete. Because if your submission for MBD 5 in 7.1 was incomplete for bidder number 3, and you are saying bidder number 4 also did not attach financials, it means their submission for MBD 5 was not complete. I can understand completing in terms of signing, but
Yes,
that requirement says you must also submit financials.
Yes, Chair.
So you should have then said bidder number 3 and bidder number 4 in your 7.1 schedule as incomplete in terms of MBD 5 column, so that you take them to 7.2 as those bidders that did not qualify in this stage. So meaning the following 2 bidders did not submit financials, not 3. Are we together, or I'm also lost?
No, you're correct, Chair.
Correct, Chair.
I'm correct, because only one bid made it through to the last stage,
Yes.
which is bidder number 2.
Yes.
And I guess the question is, if they did not agree to the terms, I guess because that gets evaluated at the last stage in terms of what is it that you're bringing as your proposal, in terms of, let me go. Once you've looked at the functionality and stuff, and then they will have a look at what is it that you're bringing forward, and they picked up that this one is not agreeing to our terms and conditions of the bidding document. That's what you're telling us, Tatembof.
Yes, yes, Chair.
Can you therefore submit a revised report through to Secretariat? Word, especially the Word one, because that's the one we use the most.
Yeah.
That talks to the following 2 bidders did not submit financials, and not 3 on 7.2.
Yes, yes, Chair.
And then on 7.3, we are bringing back the disqualification. One was disqualified because they were not registered on CSD.
Yeah, the first one, yeah, it was not on CSD, yes.
Okay, now look at 7.3. You are saying they did not declare MBD 4. Are you saying after having realized the fact that the CSD is not there, which is a pre, whatever that you want to call it, where you must first look at them before you evaluate.
Yes.
You're still bringing them forward. You're saying you're evaluating them using the MBDs, even though you had explained to us they did not register on the CSD database. So I don't understand why you're bringing them on 7.3. What does your 7.36 to achieve? Is it an overall analysis of your disqualification throughout the process? What is it?
No, I see. Yeah, I agree. This was this is really an administrative.
So you take out number 1 in your 7.3 report, paragraph. Sorry. So you take out bidder number 1. You must have bidder number 3 and bidder number 4. Because your bidder number 1, you would have disqualified it at the beginning.
Yes, Chair.
And then you just correct your 7.2 to say the following 2 bidders, not 3.
Yes.
Thank you, Tatembof. And we are therefore recommending cancellation for the tender, and we are adding a second, let me just go down because we don't have a proper recommendation. It's a cancellation because the tender is non-responsive, and we are recommending the 2-stage bidding process, so that it gives us an opportunity to look at the proposals that might be brought forward by the prospective bidders, and it can assist the city in making the correct or well-informed decision in terms of this type of a tender. Members, as amended.
As amended.
As amended, Chair.
Thank you. Next
As
item.
amended, Chair.
Thanks, Elsminke. Next item, Mapula, I think it's the GPM 16. Tatembof, you can take us through.
Thank you very much, Chair. The next item is GPM 16. It's still group property, Chair. This is GPM 16 2021-22 cancellation report tender for the invitation for the long-term lease and development of the following properties. Portion of the remainder of Farm Ritgat 611 JR. It's also a 30-year lease. The specification was approved on the 8th of November 2021. The advert was on the 14th of January 2022. The closing date was the 2nd of March 2021. And the official from the department is Johanna, and the official from supply chain is Flora. The tender, Chair, first expired on the 31st of May 2022. It has been extended to the 29th of August 2022. We go straight to the report, Chair, without wasting time. I'll take the committee to page on page on my tender here. I can't remember. I can't see the page here, but the bidders that were received, Chair, on this tender, it was 3 bidders. Bidder number 1, 2, and 3, and 2 and 3. None of the bidders was on the restrictive. Bidder number 1. Let me see here on this report. Yes, bidder 1, 2, 3. On the disqualification, Chair, bidder number 3 and bidder number 1, they did not complete MBD 4, and bidder number 3 did not complete MBD 8, and bidder number 3 did not complete MBD 9, meaning bidder number 3 was disqualified on the administrative, Chair, then leaving only bidder number 1 and bidder number 2 being the only 2 that moves on to the mandatory. And then when we go on to the mandatory, Chair, you can see bidder number 2, they did not submit all the professional the professional qualification that registration that was required, development concept. They did not enclose any development concept. There was no project plan as required. Therefore, it means the bidder number 2, Benisol, is actually disqualified, and they move on to the next bidder. Am I reading this report correctly? Seems like my report is confusing me. I'm not sure what is wrong here, Chair. This tender, Chair, is a non-responsive because none of the bidders actually meet the required specified as the other bidder. Yes, bidder number 1. Bidder number 1 has had some of the companies that are registered, but they did not declare them on MPD 4. So to them they say they don't have any other companies, but their CSD revealed the companies that are listed on the report here on administrative disqualification. So the company that went through Benisol, they did not have all the required qualifications that were required. Therefore, this tender also is a non-responsive. The recommendation is for cancellation, and we recommend that the department should go out on tender with the aim of having a compulsory briefing or compulsory briefing, so that together they must involve supply chain, so that they explain the importance of the MPDs, because this is where most of the companies are actually they are falling out. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thanks, Datempo. Report is tabled. Members' comments, Asminki.
Chair, nothing from my side. Yeah, I'm just going to express my concern again in relation to this mini cancellation, like Verusha indicated before. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Verusha. Comments.
Thanks, Chair. No additional comments.
Thanks, Tandi.
As recommended, Chair.
Thanks. The report is recommended for cancellation. Next item, Mapula.
The Chairperson.
Yes,
The
Justin.
accommodations only read the tender for an invitation for the long-term lease and development of the following council property. Portion of the remainder of the farm Richard be recommended for cancellation. Shouldn't we give the reason why it is cancelled? Due to non-response of tenders received those.
Okay, thanks, Justin. That is acceptable. Thank you. Next item, Mapola.
The next item is item 5, Community and Social Development Services, 5.1 HHR 01 2018-19, Town Planning, Appointment of Service Providers to render town planning services.
Thanks. Can the department introduce themselves, declare and take us through the report?
Okay, thank you, Chairperson, members of the BAC, good day. My name is Thabo Mokebe. I'm the Acting Group Head for Community and Social Development Services Department, and I hereby declare that I don't have any personal interest on the item that will be considered by the BAC. Thank you. And I've got my colleagues, DH Felix and Colin, who will introduce themselves. Thanks, Chairperson.
Thank you, AGH. Good afternoon, Chairperson and members of the panel. My name is Felix Rajwili. I'm the Divisional Head for Sports and Infrastructure Development. And I want to declare that I don't have any interest whatsoever in the matter before the committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Colin Tongo. I'm the project manager, and I just want to declare that I don't have any interest on this matter that is going to be presented before the BAC. Thank you. And I believe I will be taking you through the report itself. Here we are requesting the BAC to, we need a services of a town planner that is going to assist us in terms of doing the town plan services. Just to give a background of the report or the project, we, as a Community Social Development Services, we are having a sports facility in Oliven. And then in that sports facility, we are sharing the ERF with the school. So what we need here, we need a town plan services to assist us to subdivide and consolidate the site so that we can have a separate site between the sports facility and the school, so that we can have a separate meter, because currently what is happening, we are having only 1 meter. Water and electricity, we are sharing the meter with the school. So we want to separate the sites, and so that we can have a sports site and a school site, and so that we can have a meter that is dedicated to the sports complex. So hence we want to go out to get this town planner services so that he can consolidate and subdivide the ERF, and so that we can have only 1 ERF, 2 separate ERFs for the school and the sports facility. So we went and tapped in on the existing tender for professionals, which is HS 01 2018-2019 town planner. And on the existing tender MPP, because what we were informed that now there is a rotation system of the service providers, and when we requested the services, we were then given MPP, that now it is a chance for MPP to be the one that must be used, and we forwarded them with our spec, and they gave us a quotation. Just want to take the members on page on page 13 of the report, whereby the MPP consortium gave us a code for 291, and on the cost center we had 250. Just to also to mention, I just forget to mention that this we are getting a donation from EPMU for planning. There is a budget that is being allocated for planning purposes. So we are getting a donation from MPU. So that they've committed that they will also add the balance that it's because currently they've given us only 250,000 for this. But when we informed them that the code came back for 291, then they committed that they will add the balance. Thank you.
Thanks, Department. I'm just a bit confused about the process now. And Tatempofu, if you can assist us and get an SAM official to help us with the new process of just giving departments a service provider to go with. Thanks. Other than that, members, the report is tabled. Comments, Verusha?
Thanks, Chair. Can the department indicate where they've received council approval to subdivide and consolidate? Because you are not allowed to appoint any service providers to consolidate or subdivide any properties without council approval. Can you give us an indication of the council report, please?
Thanks. Department, please assist.
We do. When we started with this project, we did. I think there's a report. We can forward that report to the BAC members.
What is the report about?
Because what is happening is that when we started with the project, because we started in 2013 with the project, and there was no site for us to do this project. But when we went out and with colleagues from Region 4, they have identified the sites, and from there we started the process of procuring the sites. So I think there's a detailed report which I don't have it in front of me. I think I will need just to go to the just to get a detailed report so that I can share with the members.
Can you confirm that it's a council-approved report that the members of the BAC request, the one that you're referring us to?
Yes, I can confirm that there is a council-approved report.
Thank you. Verusha, are you covered?
Chair, they need to forward us the council-approved report, or this report that they have submitted will be contrary to the MFMA.
Thanks. Any comments, Minky?
Chair, from my side, just wanted to check if ever there's a specific time frame for this particular project. Maybe if the department can just assist me on that one. Other than that, Chair, I'm covered.
Thanks. Thandi?
Chair, on my side, I was worried about budget availability, seeing that they only had a budget of 250,000 and the code came up to 290,000. The last point regarding from department covered me there, but I would like to get some submission in writing from EPMU about the covering of the remainder of the budget, because as it stands, the department does not have sufficient funds to carry out the project. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks, Tandy. Kane, did you manage to get Sbusiso from supply chain to help us with the process?
Chair, my apologies. My computer is about to restart. It will I'll log in as soon as it's complete. If you can just excuse me for a moment.
Okay. Kane?
The telephone number you called is not available at the moment.
A few seconds, members.
Hello, my darling. Okay. Tengo kailala. Nko mpotsa neo o na le lena mo?
Thanks, members. Supply chain, can you help us with the process?
Chairperson, thank you very much. My name is Justice Ratupetsani, here with declare that I do not have any interest on the item on the agenda. Apologies, but just to explain the rotation, the town planning procurement process. The city manager has actually approved a rotation process for town planning services, as previously requested. So what is happening on this report, for example, if you look in the report, there's a table there, I think it starts on page 8. What that table shows is previous appointments or allocations in relation to the town planning exercises since this exercise started. So in the 2021-22, which is where we are now, you would have seen that each of these bidders have got dates or work that has been allocated to them. And if you go to, for example, I think now we're sitting on the recommended one here, it's MPP, for example. So what is basically happening here is that the rotation exercise had ended somewhere at number 26. If you look at number 26, MIH Consortium, these guys were already recommended for the Pinas port extension. Now, 27, 28, 29 are being recommended for for other projects in a separate report. But this report, it's actually dealing with the next allocation, which was at number 30. What made it difficult was that the report for 27, 28, 29 was withheld at human settlements. They delayed it because while we were finalizing the report, they then decided to change, I think, the areas which they were allocating these bidders. but that report would come separately. But it's simply a rotation exercise to explain the principle as approved by the city manager. And as I'm saying, the queue was at 26. So 27, 28, 29 were due. They are being recommended for 3 other projects in human settlements. And now 30 was next, and that's how it is recommended for community and social development. So I don't know if that assists, but Sbu is here if there's any need for further clarity.
Thanks, SCM. We fine. Can you then get that confirmation in writing for the budget and that council approved report? So before we can make any decision, we will therefore request the department to submit such, and they can submit before 4 o'clock because that's the time we are closing this meeting, so that we can make a final decision. Mapola on 5.1. We are waiting for confirmation of budget, not unless the guys from MPMU are here. They can assist us with the budget.
Thank you, unfortunately, I'm not the one working with the triple PSG but what I can confirm that there is sufficient available budget on the triple PSG. So if National Treasury will allow us to change the budget, it won't be a problem because we are underspending on that grant. So there's definitely enough available budget for it.
Okay. Thank you. We will then wait for the council approved report before we can make a final recommendation on this item. Thanks. Department, are you sending it through Colin and Tabo?
Yes, I will be sending it.
Thank you.
Okay. Colin will send it through, Chair. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Next item, Mapola.
The next item is item 6. It's from Communication, Marketing and Events 6.1, CME 01 2021-22. Request for the appointment of a service provider to produce and supply branding collaterals.
Thanks, Mapola. Can the department introduce, declare and take us through the report?
Thank you, Chair. This is Sarit Kamfer speaking. I represent the department on this item, and I hereby declare that I have no interest in the item to be discussed and that I will abide by the committee's rules. Chair, I just wanted to say something. I don't know if there was oversight when the agenda was drafted, but the other item, which is similar to this item, which is branding material, I don't see on the agenda. I think it's called appointment of a service provider to produce and supply branding material to perform marketing and events management services. So, Chair, if you maybe can allow my colleagues from events to present that item if we are done with this item.
All right, that will be our last item before 4, because we must allow the members time to go through the reports so that they can be able to contribute towards the adjudication process. So we can't have a report and I expect them to adjudicate a report immediately. So that's why I'm saying if you send it through, we will then give members some time. It will be the last item on the agenda, just at about 5 to 4. Thank you. Can you take us through CME 01 2021-22, the supply for branding collaterals? Thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson. Before I go into the detail of the report, I just want to give a little bit of context why we have done this request for quotation. As you know, we have a newly awarded CME panel that was awarded in April or so. Before that time, we also had a CME panel, and we are trying to take learnings from what happened with the previous panel. Now, as you know, the CME panel is not only used by our department, but is also used by all the other city departments. And what we found with the previous panel is that departments will procure from our panel, if I can put it that way, without consulting with us. Also to note that we are it's our core function to deliver communication, marketing and events services within the city. And we are the brand custodian of the city. So what happened is they will procure from the panel, and then they will deliver services which is not necessarily aligned to their business plan or their core function. They will procure promotional and branding material of a very low quality that does not comply with the branding guidelines of the city, and they will procure in small amounts, which is much more expensive to procure, and it costs the city a lot of money. So what we have put in place, as you know, with a new tender now, is put a procedure in place that we can force the departments to come to us when they procure communication, marketing and event services. So in that way, we can do quality control. We can make sure whatever they want to procure is in line with a business plan, and that it is not fragmented, meaning that only procure promotional material, but there's not a bigger plan supporting it. So this specific tender, that's the backdrop of it. You will see we have selected specific items. It was carefully selected because we know what items will give us a long-lasting effect. It's cheap items. There's no luxury items on the specification. So, and we want to procure in bulk. And the idea is we have not done such thing in the last 3 years. Departments are coming to us. I'm not talking about the departments that have procured in the past for themselves, but they will come, or the expectation is there that they must come to us to get promotional material whenever they go for an event or a program. And a lot from the higher offices, from the city manager's office and from the executive mayor's office. So this attempt is for us, firstly, to save costs. That's why we procure in bulk. We also want to make sure that the quality of the items is good. It complies with our branding guidelines. We found that departments usually procuring promotional material, they will not check with us. They will buy a red T-shirt and put the logo on, and the red is not even the city's color. And then lastly, we want to curb unnecessary expenditure by the departments in buying promotional material or branding collateral in small quantities, which actually cost the city a lot of money. So with that background, Chairperson, I would like to take you through the report. And there was 26. The specification was sent to 26 service providers on the new CME panel, and 16 service providers responded. Only one of the service providers was disqualified due to non-administrative compliance. It's a straightforward recommendation. We have recommended the cheapest service provider for appointment, which complies with everything, and the company's name is Libro Media Communication. And Chairperson, with that, I'm tabling the report.
Thank you. So, members, the report is tabled. Comments, Thandi?
Okay, Chair. No comment, Chair, except that maybe under paragraph 13, they just make space between 2022 and the recommended bid. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you, Auslinki.
A cover, Chair. No comment.
Thank you, Verusha.
Verusha did indicate that the computer is restarting, Chair.
She's still restarting. I think my concern with this type of a tender is the fact that I don't think we wrote it as an as and when. I'm not sure whether are we trying to create a store where people will be able to go and buy this promotional or this material. And what if these type of materials, because I've looked at the quantities as stated, whether was it just for evaluation purpose or not, what if we've bought those and none of these items are required by the other departments? What will happen then? Wouldn't we then create where it's a wasteful expenditure, where we've bought these items and none of these departments are coming forward to request such? Sarat?
Thank you, Chair. I can assure you that it will not go to waste. How we have done it in the past, way long before 3 years ago, is you buy in bulk and that is what is available. And as I said, all these items we have selected with care because we know which items can go a long way when we do events and programs. So I can assure you it will not go to waste, because if departments come and they want T-shirts, you'll just tell them, okay, for what purpose is it? Okay, we've got this appropriate material that we can give to you for your event. So it will not go to waste.
Thanks, members. As recommended.
As recommended, Chair.
As recommended, Chair.
Thank you. Next item, Mapula.
I see Paul's hand is up, Chair.
Okay.
Good afternoon, members. Chair, the item 6.1, actually, I just want to check with you or the secretariat who redone the agenda, because in the previous BAC that was on Thursday, our item was on the agenda. So I don't understand the reasons why it was removed. I hear you when you say you're moving it to before we're closing, but just to check with the person who redid the agenda.
Mapula, next item. Paul, you can contact Secretariat on the site. Mapula, can you skip 7.1 and go to item 8? Yes, I guessed it.
This one will we include on recommendation 1, once off.
Yes, this they're gonna answer it. Okay, I think they're off. Let's not include once off, because they might not necessarily have the total budget, but the expenditure is limited to the amount that we're recommending this whole project on. Guestin, I think it's fair to say, as and when there's a requirement of such, they must have enough stock or enough items for the seat. I think we must not talk to, but it will be limited to the value of this the recommended amount. Guestin, thanks.
Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you. Let's do item 8, Mapula.
The next item, Chair, item 8 from Roads and Transport Department, 8.1, contract RTD 01-2016-17, TIDC 40, panel appointment of a service provider for the upgrading of roads and stormwater system in Cullinan, 14 months period with effect from commencement date.
Thank you. Mapula, who's here from the department?
Good afternoon, colleagues. Good afternoon, colleagues. It's Pegu speaking here. Unfortunately, when I was about to start with my presentation, I got switched off. But I'm with Mr. Hosana Ndlovu and Irene. I'll first start by doing a declaration, and I'll request them to do the declaration, and then I'll present the report. My name is Pekulu Tlonkani, Group Head Roads and Transport, and I hereby declare I have no personal interest in the matter to be discussed today.
Good afternoon, colleagues. My name is Hosana Ndlovu in the Roads and Transport Department, and I also declare that I have no personal interest to the matter in discussion.
Good afternoon. My name is Irene Mapola. I'm also from the Roads and Department. I would also like to declare that I have no personal interest in the matter.
Thank you, Chair. As you indicated, basically this report is a request for extension of time from the duration from 28 July to 19 September 2022. Chair, I just need to highlight up front that this particular extension of time has no any financial implication. Chair, I think the most important aspect is the fact that the company in question was appointed on the 27th of November 2020. In process, as always, the appointment was from effect from the commencement date. Chairperson, I need to confirm that the commencement date for this particular project was on the 7th of May 2021 due to the fact that we needed to obtain approval from the Department of Labor in relation to the permitting relating to the constructions of work. Chair, the other important aspect, maybe just that I needed to highlight, is the fact that we have attached in Annexure A the minutes of the site handover and the agent instruction for the works to commence, and those documents basically reflect the actual. They actually confirm the actual commencement date. Chair, there were a number of reasons that resulted in us requesting this particular extension of time. One was the financial situation of the city, where at some stage we had to basically suspend works, and also there was issues relating to the inclement weather that occurred, and as a result, the contractor submitted a letter of requesting extension of time, which was evaluated by the appointed resident engineer or the consultant appointed, which is MPP, and as a result, a total of about 37 days were approved, which then takes the expiry from actually the 28th of July to the 19th of September. Chairperson, we request that the BAC consider the report and also support the recommendation. All the key stakeholder departments did provide the necessary recommendation, and as a result, Chair, we're requesting a recommendation that the extension of time be extended at no additional cost to the city. Thank you.
Thanks, Pegu. The report is tabled, members. It's an extension of time without financial implications, meaning the project will continue using its approved or awarded value. Thank you. Members, comments? Minky?
Thank you, Chair. Anything that has got no extra financial implications for me, I don't have any problem, as long as the new completion date will be adhered to. Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Outstanding.
How did we arrive to the 19th of September, Chair, if we're talking about 37 days? If that can be explained to me, because I'm looking at my calendar and the August is 31 days and you calculate it from the 28th of July. And then for September, you go for the 19th. It's not 37 days, or is maybe the group has add in the number of days granted. Chair, if I can check that.
Pego, assist.
Oh, okay, Chair. Let me ask Hosanna to explain that particular calculation of this.
Thank you very much, Chairperson, and everyone in attendance. From the appointment letter, it said that the contractor is appointed for 14 months with the effect from the commencement date. So as group had explained that the commencement date was somewhere in 7th of May 2021. So we added 14 months on that, including statutory holidays and the December break for contractors, which is an annual builder's holiday. So that took us to 28 July. So due to the stopping of the works because of the financial situation, the program was halted. And when the contractor resumed to site sometime in March, then we asked them to revise the program. And that is where the 37 days came from. So moving from 28 July to 19th of September, we counted 37 working days. So that is how we arrived to that conclusion, Chair. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Are you covered, Outstanding?
Chair, yeah, there is a difference between 37 days and 37 working days. Maybe that's where my confusion was. Thanks, Chair.
Thanks. As recommended, members?
As recommended.
Thank you. Next item, Mapula.
The next item is item 8.2, request for approval of payment to the service provider for services rendered outside duration of the contract.
Thank you, Chairperson. The second report that I'll be presenting is the ex post facto request that we'll be doing on behalf of Tshwane Bus Service. I'm with Mr. Molatu Matlaila, and I will request that he also do the declaration.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. My name is Molatu Matlaila. Hereby declare that I don't have any interest on the matter. Thank you very much.
Chairperson, if this particular report that I'm going to present emanate from a process that we started already last year. There was a resolution in May last year from this same committee, which at the time gave the department the extension of time, 5 months to be exact, up to November 2021, for us to undertake a process of Municipal Finance Act Section 116, which basically talks to the amendment of a contract. This particular process, Madam Chair, was undertaken by the department. We went through a mayoral committee in August 2021, and also it was approved by council in again at the end of August 2021. In the process, council then requested that we undertake a public participation process to basically notify the communities and any other interested stakeholder of our intention to amend this particular contract. Chairperson, what had transpired, this process was then led by the Office of the Speaker, and the process was undertaken and was completed basically at the beginning of November. And as a result, it needed to go to mayoral committee. But as you well aware, in November, there were no mayoral committee, and as a result, the report could not serve at council. In January, this particular item was withdrawn from mayoral committee, and I also need to confirm the fact that during the period I was on leave, and therefore we had to reinstate the item onto the mayoral committee item in February. It was approved by mayoral committee as well. It went to the council of end of February, and during the council meeting, this particular item was withdrawn. Madam Chair, in the process, we then attempted to undertake the internal process through the office of the city manager. And again, in our engagement with the office of the COO, again, it was felt that the council process need to be concluded, meaning that because that request to go on a public participation process was a council process, we need to go back to council. Again, we went back to mayoral committee in May 18, 2022. And in the process, there was a resolution that was taken by mayoral committee, which basically indicated to us that we need to follow a process, a three-pronged approach again. One of the recommendation was that we need to do regulation 36 report, and also we need to do the irregular expenditure report, which basically it's your regulation 32 expose factor report. So as a result of that, Madam Chair, we did the report, and the report basically is centered around the fact that we had no any other option but to allow Hatfield to continue with the maintenance of our buses, and as a result, we incurred expenditure as a result of that particular decision. Chair, we had at some stage stopped the services, but due to the fact that MAN is the original equipment manufacturer and the owner of the software that we are using to diagnose buses, we had to basically go back to them for them to assist us to continue with the services. Chair, the reason now is mainly because of the fact that we have no other service provider that can basically help us with the maintenance, and the fact that council has or mayoral committee has in its previous sitting indicated to us that we need to follow that particular approach. And this approach basically is the first of the two that will be followed. And as a result, Chair, into a situation where we find ourselves in, because in terms of the process that we followed in terms of 116, it was clear and proven that there is no service provider, no manufacturer who has this particular equipment. We then had also engaged with MAN in terms of the situation that we find ourselves in, and basically they had confirmed that the buses that we are utilizing, they are limited in terms of the number, in terms of South Africa, where only about 300 or so buses are available, and 220 thereof are actually supplied to the city of Tshwane. So if and the fact of the matter is that this type of buses have been the model has been discontinued, and as a result, without the assistance of men, we had no else to go to. Hence, we had to allow them to assist with the number of buses. At some stage in May, when we had stopped their operation, we were sitting with about 80 buses that were not operational, and we had to go back to them. So that is mainly the reason that the fact of the matter is that we don't have service providers within Tshwane, and at the same time, there is no other manufacturer who have this particular software. And as a result, we were forced to basically engage them outside the contract. The hope was that council will then approve the amendment, and unfortunately, that particular report was withdrawn. Was withdrawn from council, and we're sitting in a situation where we don't have a service provider, and at the same time, a mayoral committee has resolved that we go on a deviation. So, Chair, if it's possible, we can also display that particular resolution that was taken by mayoral committee on the 18th. Thank you, Chair.
Members, the report is tabled. Comments? Nosminki?
Chair, I'm confused.
Yes,
If I can get clarification in terms of what exactly is the report seeking? Do you seek us to pay for the payment of services that were rendered without a contract, or there was a contract in between, but then can I just get clarity? I think I'm confused.
Okay.
Maybe my mind is everywhere. Sorry about
Okay.
that.
No, it's fine, ma'am. The issue here is that we had utilized Man Hatfield outside the contract, and hence we requesting that the amount of about 11 million be paid. And what I've been explaining is that we have nowhere else to go because of the fact that they are the only ones and they are the original equipment manufacturer. And I was just trying to explain that we were in the process of doing an amendment of a contract. Unfortunately, our process couldn't reach a stage. A report was withdrawn at council, and as a result, it put us in this situation.
Okay. Chair, do we have comments from both SCM and legal services?
Yes, ma'am. All the stakeholder department has provided positive comment.
Okay, your comments, Osminki?
Chair, I'm covered. I just wanted the comments from both legal and supply chain. I'm covered for now, Chair.
Thanks. Thandi, your comments?
Chair, it's difficult for me because I was part of the MAC when I sent the report back. And I remember the question was why Man Hatfield in particular and group head is explaining today. My dilemma is similar to that of member Minky in the sense that the request from the department and the amount mentioned in the report is up until June 2022. And my concern is that in July, without any new contract on the table, in July 2022, we'll be sitting in the same situation where they may be forced to continue
with this arrangement amounting to more cost if there's no contract. So I'm caught up there, Chair. I understand the report is seeking to pay for the services that may have been occurred from November last year to June. But then what happens in July? Because we still don't have a contract in place. Are we going to, as a department, come here in December and ask for the same report or same request? Because the situation would have not changed. That is my concern, Chair.
Thank you. Members, the report is an ex post facto request for payment of outstanding invoices. And the group head has explained that they've used the services of Mentruck whilst they did not have a contract in place. We therefore recommend this particular report, and Guestin, we subject it to our normal standard recommendation in terms of Section 32. Where all the requirements and the necessary action must be taken against officials who have allowed this process to unfold without having followed the normal process. And the team knows which recommendation to include Guestin. Am I in order?
Yes, madam.
Thank you. So we recommend members the approval and obviously subject to Section 32 standard recommendation as per BAC. Members as recommended.
As recommended, Chair.
Thank you. And I think Verusha continues to struggle with the network.